Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin the funeral service. Oops, I didn't see that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin the memorial service. We ask for those that have a cell phone or pager, if you could turn it to the silent mode. Officiating today's Rabbi Nancy Landsman.
On behalf of our whole family, I want to thank all of you who are here today in the chapel and those of you who are joining us on the live stream. Our hearts go out to Leon, to Diane, Sierra, Allison, Chloe, Tyler, and Ethan, and to the whole family. It means so much that you are here to lend your love and your support to all of us during this very difficult time. We begin the service with the traditional act of Kriya. Uncle Leon and Diane, you both have been given black ribbons, which are pinned on you. If the two of you could please just stand right at your place there. We know that many times mourners will tear their clothing as a sign of mourning. But in lieu of tearing your clothing, you've been given this black ribbon. And Diane, your ribbon is on the left side. It's only children who wear the ribbon over the heart because there is no bond as unique and special as that between parent and child. We know all relationships are special and that everyone loved Bonnie so much. Before making this tear in the ribbon, there are some traditional Hebrew words that are said, and I invite the two of you to repeat these words after me. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Dayan HaEmet. These words mean, praised are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, judge of truth. From the bottom of the ribbon up towards the circular button, you can make a little tear in your ribbon, or you can make a large tear. You have a choice to wear this torn ribbon just today, or the first week of mourning, or you can wear this torn ribbon for the period of Shloshim, 30 days. You also can choose to wear this ribbon tucked in the inside, or you can wear it on the outside so that others can see you wearing this torn ribbon. And hopefully when they see you wearing this torn ribbon, they will know you are in a period of mourning and they will have compassion on you. Please be seated. The author of the following is unknown. This beautiful poem is entitled, A Life Well Lived. A life well lived is a precious gift of hope and strength and grace from someone who has made our world a brighter, better place. It's filled with moments sweet and sad, with smiles and sometimes tears, with friendships formed and good times shared, and laughter through the years. A life well lived is a legacy of joy and pride and pleasure. a living, lasting memory our grateful hearts will treasure. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a loved child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded." I think we can all agree that Bonnie Lindenbaum succeeded big time. Our lives, all of our lives, have been made richer because of Bonnie. We're here to celebrate her life. We have to be grateful for the years that she lived. And yet, we need comfort. And we often find comfort when we turn to the book of Psalms, Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the mountains. From whence shall my help come? My help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel doth neither slumber nor sleep. In our service folders, we find another psalm, a familiar psalm, the 23rd Psalm, a psalm that I think speaks to all of us. If you did not receive a service folder when you entered the chapel, there are extra copies outside. Please do take one, as there are other prayers that we'd like for you to have throughout the service. For those of you here and those of you joining us remotely, I'd like to invite everyone to join with me in the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. My Aunt Bonnie heard me read this next poem, whose author is unknown, And she loved this poem. It touched her so, and it is so fitting for her. It's entitled, A Grandmother Is. A grandmother is one of life's best gifts. Someone to treasure all life through. She's caring and loving, thoughtful and true. Someone who is always a special part of your life. Someone who holds a prime place in your heart. She's a mentor, a confidant, and also a friend. Someone on whose love you can depend. A grandmother always has your best interests at heart. She's someone so dear and so good. She's a blessing. She's a gift. She's a treasure like no other. She's someone that is truly wonderful. Wherever you go and whatever you do, a grandmother's love will always see you through. A grandmother is truly invaluable, indispensable, and unforgettable. I wouldn't want anyone but you, and that's why I'm so grateful that life picked you for me. Our family is filled with a lot of love, and this poem, whose author is also unknown, was quite fitting. It's entitled, The Greatest Gift. One of the greatest gifts that life can give to anyone is the very special love that families share. As years go by, it's good to know that there will always be certain people in our lives who care. For there are countless things that only families have in common, and memories that no one else can make. And these precious ties that bind a family together are bonds that time and distance cannot break. How fortunate we are when we have relatives to love us. It makes the world a happy place to be. Few gifts in life will last as long or touch the heart as deeply as the very special gift of family. We have several speakers today, everyone who loved Bonnie so very much. And it's my honor to first call upon Diane with Chloe and Ethan.
We're going to start with a poem. My friend Holly was over, and she was remembering that my mom used to give out poems with beautiful calligraphy when babies were born, and this one was sitting on my mom's dresser, and she said, "Oh, what is that poem?" And I read it, and I just started crying, and I said to my dad, "Dad, have you ever read this poem?" He's like, "I'm sure I have." And then he picked it up and he was like in tears, and it's like, you know how something can just be sitting there all the time and you never really notice it? Well, so we think that when she went to the lady who did the calligraphy, she must have found this poem and thought it was so beautiful. She had it personalized with the names Bonnie and Leon and their wedding date. So Chloe, Ethan, and I are going to read it. And because my mom was a rhymer, we're not as good, so bear with us, please. Our love has changed, and so have we, since all those years ago. when we were young and full of dreams and loved each other so.
But through the changes that have come and made us more mature, there also is serenity, a feeling we're secure.
In knowing that our love survives through everything we face, and this great love we've shared so long can never be replaced.
That's why I've never minded, as so many people do, at growing slowly older, for I'm growing old with you. And then it says June 28th, 1959. That's their wedding anniversary. Almost 63 years now, author unknown. Okay, so we're each going to say a few words, and I have notes, but I decided I'm just going to speak from the heart. It's hard to even think that my mom is not here anymore, but she was not just a mom. She was my protector, my supporter, my cheerleader, my shoulder to cry on, my confidant, and my very close friend. How do I honor my mom in 5 minutes? I know it's not possible, but I will do my best. When I think about my sister in my life growing up with my parents, I always would tell people my mom was June Cleaver, the perfect wife, mother, neighbor, friend. We had a mom who got us up every morning, had breakfast on the table for all 4 of us to sit down for breakfast. She would make our lunches, and on our napkins would be little love notes from her. And then when we would come home from school, of course, she was waiting there with a immaculately clean house, all the laundry done, everything done, and she would greet us to see, what do you want for your after-school snack? And then every night when my dad would get home around 6 p.m., she would have a home-cooked dinner on the table, and the 4 of us would always eat dinner together and share the ups and downs of our days. It was like literally the Leave It to Beaver in my mind, because I don't think there's, in now times, I don't think that's how families even are anymore. Our mom and dad, and I'm speaking on behalf of my sister Lori too, never missed a single event of ours, ever. Not a show, not a gymnastics, not a singing, nothing. She taught us that families say, I love you, and you hug and kiss and show affection to one another. She supported all of our choices and achievements as we went through college and grew up. She cheered us on along the way, but always gave us her motherly advice. She was the most nurturing person I've ever known. Even up to now, if I would get a cold or something, I'd be calling, Mom, I don't feel good, because she is the only one who could give you that kind of nurturing where you just feel so unconditionally loved. She was with me at the birth of both of my children. Chloe wasn't even supposed to be due till February 15th, and my dad was on a golf trip, and my mom said, I'll fly out, the end of January. And sure enough, February 3rd, I'm like waking my mom up. I think my water broke, and she's grabbing the What to You Expect When You're Expecting book, and off to the hospital we went, and she was there holding my hand when Chloe came into this world. A couple years later, I had a real difficult pregnancy with this guy, and so he had to come out as a planned pre-37-week thing. And so she flew in, and both my parents were there when, unfortunately, we had a pretty emergent C-section, but thank God everything turned out okay, and she was there for that too. Once my kids were born, my parents visited us like 6 times a year in Vegas. They supported my kids in everything they did, and she was the best nana ever. And once I had kids, I really even appreciated her more, realizing what it is that a mother is. She also supported me through some of the darkest times in my life, with 2 failed marriages and the death of my sister. I had so much trouble grieving the loss of my sister that my mom actually came to Vegas and stayed with me for over 6 weeks to help me get therapy, get whatever was needed to try to process the grief I was having. So she was there for me during that, and my kids. We emailed, FaceTimed, talked on the phone pretty much every day. Constantly. She's the first person I will pick up my phone to call with the highs, the lows, anything. She also was a devoted friend, as everybody here knows. She devoted herself to Why Me, to the Kellogg Cancer Center, and to the Rainbow Hospice, all that had very special meaning to her. She never, ever would forget to send you a card for your birthday, your anniversary. Never missed it. She was the most organized person. I just don't know how I missed that chip, but I didn't get it. Super social. I remember her having the date book with every Saturday night planned. I was like, how are you this, like, you have plans like 4 months from now? I don't get it. I like go, hey, what are you doing tonight? So yes, very social, very organized. And then it seemed like in an instant, the circle of life happened, and it was my pleasure and my honor to care for my mom during her battle with, and I'm gonna say it, fucking cancer. I'm so sick of cancer taking people I love. I truly cannot imagine a life without her. I can't imagine it. I still can't imagine it. And I will forever cherish the memories and love her with all my heart. I love you, Mom. I miss you, Mom.
I second everything my mom said. I can attest to all of it. And I just want to first say that I don't think there's any words that can even describe our relationship and our bond that we had. It's indescribable. There's no words to describe it. I know Nana and I both know how much we love and cherish each other, so I'm just going to try and capture that to the best of my ability. For starters, she was amazing, thoughtful, incredible, selfless, caring, devoted, and family-oriented. She truly is the best grandmother I've ever met in my life. I know everyone says that, but it's because they didn't know Nana. They're mistaken because they didn't know her. We were truly best friends. We would FaceTime at least 3 times a week. I kept her up on all updates in my life, whether it was friends or college or vacations. We talked all the time. We really, truly had such a special bond. She was there for every life event of mine, not even major, not just the bat mitzvahs and the birthdays. She was there for when I was tree number 2 in The Wizard of Oz, and when I was a golfer in High School Musical 2, where she would just come to visit us in Las Vegas just to share their love. And every time they would come and visit, they would bring a book for me and Ethan to read. She always encouraged our love of reading, and I think that's where I get my love of English and writing from. She truly was the best example to me as to what a kind, bright light in this world should be. I idolize her. She's one of my biggest inspirations in my life. I constantly say, and I still believe, that her and Papa are the rocks and source of stability in my life. They provide me so much wisdom and guidance, and I also could not imagine my life without them. They've been truly the best thing in my life that I could ever ask for. I don't think I could be more grateful to have both of them. I really always looked forward to her visits and always coming here. It was never like, oh, we've got to see Nana and Papa. Like, it was something that there was always so much anticipation building up to. We always truly enjoyed each other's company and doing anything and everything together. Me and her specifically were big game players. We loved to play board games and card games, and word games. We would always try and encourage Papa or Mom or whoever was there to play along with us because we loved playing our games. And one of my favorite things about Nana is that she could break into song with any word. We could have a conversation and she, right off the top of her head, could go into any song. Her and Papa always took me to musicals, which is another memory I'll always cherish, how she really ingrained in me a love of music. I just don't really know how to sum up the relationship that we had because I don't know a life without her. She's been there from the day I was born. So I just don't know. This is going to be hard to go on without her. She's been a source of unwavering support for me. She's been there for me anytime I need her. I know I can pick up the phone and call them. I'm just so grateful to have had her in my life and to have known her and loved her so deeply, because I know that's a blessing that not everyone gets to have that Bonnie is that type of person in your life. Not everyone gets to know such a special person. And her memory will always live on in my heart, and I will always love her so much, and I will never, ever forget our relationship, and it will continue to live with me for the rest of my life.
I'm really gonna miss her a lot. Just every time you think of her, I don't have a memory of her without a smile on her face. Even through all her surgeries and cancer, she always smiling and on the phone with me. I'm not a very talkative person, but she would just try to cheer me up every time I talked to her. And just seeing her, I just miss seeing her happy. I don't know how I'm not gonna see her anymore, just because such a beautiful soul. Truly, I don't know why this happened to her, but she didn't deserve it. But that's how life goes, I guess. You just have to accept it. It happens to everyone, I guess. I don't know why it was this early for her, but she was just always, at times I've wanted to quit basketball, and then I'd get on a phone call with her, or she'd text me, and she'd just bring me through just hard times, not even just basketball, but just times I've wanted to just give up on things. And her and my grandfather always care about my life so much. I just don't understand how a person can care about someone other than themselves so much, but that's just the way she was. I'm gonna miss her a lot, but hopefully I'll see her again. So, and she's done suffering. I hated to see her like that. So I'm just, at least she's at peace now. And I just want her to know how much I loved her. I know on the phone, it was hard for me to express. I'm just not that kind of person, but now I really regret just saying I love you more, and I should have just smiled more when I saw her, but I just took a lot of times for granted, but I can't go back now, so I just hope she knows how much I love her and how much she means to me, and I hope she watches over me.
Thank you.
So beautiful. Ethan, it was hard to hear, even I was just sitting right here, but we all know, and more importantly, your Nana knew. She really did know how much you loved her. In your own unique way, just like everyone else, everyone who's here, everyone who was so lucky to have Bonnie in their life, had their own individual relationship with her. And just know that you were all so very loved. Your words were beautiful, and Diane and Chloe, so beautiful. It's now my honor to call upon Sierra and Tyler.
All right, I'm going to start with something that I wrote, and then I'm going to read something that my other sister Allison wrote. She's unable to be here today. She's watching on live stream, but I'm going to read on her behalf after I finish up mine. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for being here today to honor my grandmother. Nana, as all of her grandchildren called her, was a very special person. There are not many people in this world that I can say truly care about me and put my best interest before their own, but Nana was certainly one of them. Whether it was any of my sporting events, school ceremonies, my birthday, or anything in between, I knew Nana would be there with a smile on her face. It felt like Nana took more pride in watching me succeed than I did in myself. For anyone who may not know, Nana lost one of her daughters and my mother 12 years ago. I was only 9 years old, which makes it hard for me to remember all the things I want to remember about my mother. One thing that really meant a lot to me was that Nana made sure to share stories and videos of my mom to make sure I always had those memories with me. Nana took it upon herself to let my mom live on through her, and that's something I could appreciate even as a little 9-year-old boy, and I still do. I want to say thank you one last time, Nana, for everything you've done for me and all that your lasting memories will continue to do for me. I love you with all my heart, Nana. May you rest in peace. And then this is what my sister Allison wrote. For me, Nana's memory will live on through her noodlekugel. Living in New Zealand, I am one of the only Jewish people I know. Last year, I had a Hanukkah potluck at my apartment, and I made brisket, latkes, and some side salads, and of course, Nana's favorite noodlekugel. An American stereotype across the globe is that we eat sweet food during a savory meal, and this was no exception to my Kiwi friends' preconceived notions of us. I watched all of them take a forkful and then crinkle their nose in surprise. They would say, "It is so sweet. Why is there such a sweet thing on our dinner plate? Should this be served as a dessert?" But then they would continue to eat it and be pleasantly surprised because they had never tasted anything like it. It never occurred to me that noodlekugel would be a dessert or a wildly unique dish. It was one of my favorite parts of dinner for most of my childhood. It was always what I went back for. It has been such a great and fun experience showing my friends here a little bit of my childhood, my culture, and my family. Nana gave me her recipe. I will continue to cook it for all of my friends that I meet across the world. I will pass on her genius in the kitchen to as many people who are open to a sweet dinner item. It is comforting knowing that if I'm ever asked to bring food from my culture, I will be bringing a piece of Nana with me. Her food will continue to live even though she is no longer with us. Her spirit will warm the hearts of hungry humans everywhere I go. Rest in peace, Nana. I hope your second, third, and beyond lives are as sweet as your kugel.
Hi, thank you all for being here today. Nana was no ordinary, I'm sorry, I said I wasn't gonna cry. Nana was no ordinary grandma. She had a zest for life, lots of love and compassion, a diehard Badgers fan, had a musical gift, and was the best grandma I could ever ask for. One of my favorite memories as a kid was showtime. Every time we went over to the house, the grandkids put a show together. We would coordinate the whole show, singing, dancing, sports skills, and more. Each child took a turn performing, and at the end would bow and get a standing ovation. Today, we are giving Nana a standing ovation on what an incredible life she lived. She always put her grandchildren first and never missed any recitals, games, plays, etc. You could always spot her in the crowd with a big smile on her face, cheering us on. We hope you can see all of us, Nana, with big smiles on our faces as we celebrate you and the fantastic woman you are. I love you with all my heart, Nana. Thank you.
And now it's my honor to call upon her eldest nephew, my brother, David.
Sharon and I are blessed, truly, to have two adorable grandchildren. The older grandchild, Joshua, is at the stage in life where he is very enamored of superheroes. Superman, Batman, Captain America, and now he's discovered Star Wars. He understands that Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, they're the good guys. They're the ones who want to fight for what is right and do things to help people. That was Aunt Bonnie. Aunt Bonnie wanted to take opportunities to help people, to do things to brighten their lives, to make their load a little easier. It's what she wanted to be able to do. Aunt Bonnie was a hero in our family, and she had many, many wonderful talents and abilities that helped her to be that hero for our family. You're going to hear from people how she could play the piano like Liberace, but Liberace needed sheet music. Aunt Bonnie could play any song in any key, at any time, in any style. She just had that ability. And she used those talents to help people brighten their lives, which was a very, very wonderful thing. It is what helped to make her a hero in our family. I want to tell you about the last time that Aunt Bonnie accompanied me, because I had been known to be a singer of songs on occasion too. So somebody had asked Aunt Bonnie to play music at a nursing home. They wanted her to play for the residents there. And that was not the only thing she wanted to do. She wanted to make this a very special occasion. And she invited me to sing along and kind of lead the residents in song, because she knew that I knew all the words to all the old songs that they would love. And it really was a special occasion. She brought song sheets with to pass out amongst the residents, and we sang every song on every page of the song sheets. It was a wonderful, wonderful occasion, and that's the last time I got to sing with her. But it was a special occasion because she made it that way. That's what she wanted to do. Aunt Bonnie was really very, very special in everything that she did. I once mentioned to her, just in passing conversation, that I happened to like Mike Royko. And it wasn't my birthday, it wasn't Hanukkah, but she went right out and bought a book, a compilation of Mike Royko columns, and gave it to me as a gift, because Aunt Bonnie was thoughtful. She wanted to be thoughtful to everybody, wherever she went, whenever she met them. That's something that she did. And she called me once to tell me about a show that was being performed in Chicago starring Hershey Felder. It was about the life of George Gershwin. Now, she knew that I was a big Gershwin fan, and she wanted to tell me about this. Well, Sharon and I went to that show, and it was one of the most enjoyable evenings of theater I'd ever experienced, all because of Aunt Bonnie. It was a phone call. She would call to tell me, oh, there's something on Channel 11. You should see this. It's a wonderful presentation. They're doing this kind of music or that kind of music, especially if it was Jewish music. and she wanted to make sure I didn't miss it because she was thoughtful. She cared enough to take the time to do that kind of thing. Aunt Bonnie, at the time our daughter Marcy was born, made a special effort to buy flowers and a special pin for my wife Sharon to wear to commemorate her very first Mother's Day. She didn't have to do that. She wanted to do that. It was something she chose to do just to be a thoughtful person, because that's the kind of person she was, always thinking of others, always looking for opportunities to make somebody's life a little brighter, a little happier, a little better. And she succeeded in doing that in many, 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 many ways. We're going to miss her thoughtfulness. It is a special thing that made her a hero in our family and for everyone. She was one of the most kind, caring, compassionate, and thoughtful people I have ever known. I only hope that one day our two grandsons both know and appreciate how that level of thoughtfulness can make somebody a hero too. Aunt Bonnie will always be a hero to me.
And now it's my honor to call upon her nephew, my brother, Barry.
When I was growing up, Aunt Bonnie was a wonderful aunt and such a close best friend to our mom, her sister Jerry. She was my piano teacher. Because of her, I gained a deep and lifelong appreciation for learning, practice, achievement, and music. As you've heard already today, Aunt Bonnie was the center of our family's showtime. She played beautiful classical pieces and show tunes, but she also had the ability to play any song by ear, as David said, without sheet music. It was incredible talent. We all sang and laughed and enjoyed family together, being together. Our parents, Jerry and Eddie Weinberg, Aunt Bonnie and Uncle Leon, and their parents, Lil and Bronx Steiner, Jenny and Ben Lindenbaum, were the kindest and most loving people. From them, we learned what family was all about. Bonnie's exceptionally loving relationship with Leon is a marvelous example of how to be a wonderful spouse and how to create and have a happy, enduring marriage. Bonnie and Mom were part of the sisterhood that was called the Bridgies. Much more than playing bridge, which they did every week, they were in each other's lives, listening, supporting, and sharing with each other. Aunt Bonnie was also a very effective leader as a founding member and a president of YME National Breast Cancer Organization. She made a huge difference in the lives of thousands of patients and their families by informing, supporting, and empowering them at a critical time in their lives. Aunt Bonnie has always been a shining example of how to be a loving family member and a true friend. She was so humble. She never needed the spotlight on herself. She pointed the spotlight on Lori and Diane, and later her grandchildren. She talked about them what they were doing, what they accomplished. She showed how very proud she was of them. Aunt Bonnie clearly adored each and every one of her grandchildren and showered them with unlimited love and affection. Not surprisingly, they adore her too. Thank you, Aunt Bonnie, for all you have done for me and for all our family, for your unparalleled generosity and thoughtfulness. We cherish you and are so very grateful to you. A quote I read recently says, "There are some who bring a light so great to the world that even after they're gone, the light remains." Aunt Bonnie, your light and your legacy will live on forever. Joni and I and all our family will miss you terribly, but you will never be gone. Your teaching, your examples, and your generous love and kindness will always be with us in our minds and in our hearts forever.
Bonnie had a ton of friends, and many of you are here today, and many of you are joining us remotely. But today, representing her friends, it's my honor to call upon Sue Devora, probably one of her oldest friends. She'll tell you.
When Leanne asked me to speak, I felt so honored because of how many friends Bonnie had from every facet of her life. And then I realized I'm longevity. I don't know if all of you know that I moved from Peterson Park to West Rogers Park. And at my first day of school, the principal took me to the first grade class. And there was a semicircle of kids sitting there with their books. And Mrs. Turley said to Bonnie, "Bonnie, would you share your seat and your primer with Susie Powell, our new student?" And Bonnie did, of course. And when we walked the 7 or 8 blocks back home, we realized we were walking the same way. We found out that my folks had rented the downstairs apartment, and Bonnie and I became neighbors. It was a fabulous building, and all they say about family is true. I was there for all Bronco Steiner's sing-alongs. I was there for the family picnics and barbecues. I was there to love Andre, their white shepherd, pure white shepherd. So much so that my dad got me a shepherd a few years later. We went through grade school and high school, and then we drifted a bit for college. But Bonnie taught me the meaning of friendship from the earliest time when we were 6. And it lasted up until the last few weeks. It was a lesson that I'll always remember. She didn't let too much time go, even though I would move away for a while or things were going on in my life. She always made sure that we had that constant reminder that we were, in her words, forever friends. And we were forever friends. I'd like to read just a poem because, as everyone knows and as everyone has said, poems were so important. Bonnie and I wrote poems to each other all our lives, only hers got better and better, so she made a business out of it. Mine remained pretty bad. But I love the simple, sweet poems of Shel Silverstein, and I'd like to read, I couldn't pick which one, but I'm going to read one that makes me think about her in this day. Somebody has to go polish the stars. They're looking a little bit dull. Somebody has to go polish the stars, for each eagle and starling and gull have all been complaining. They're tarnished and worn. So dear thoughtful Bonnie, who today we all mourn, gathered some rags and some polishing jars, and she's taken her turn to polish the stars.
As the rabbi, I always like to go last and fill in whatever blanks are left. But today, I'm not just the rabbi, I'm Bonnie's niece. But I'll begin first with sharing some of the memories that Diane and Leon had shared with me. We all know how much she adored her parents, Bronk and Lily Steiner. They were extraordinary, and so was she, as a daughter and as a sister to my mother, Jerry, and sister-in-law to my father, Eddie. There was so much love. Leon shared with me for 24 years. Bonnie went with you to all of the Wisconsin football games in every type of weather. Not because she loved football, because I think everyone who knew Bonnie knew she did not like football, but she loved you. You were her main concern. She would often tell you and some of us that she didn't know how she could manage without you. These past 16 years, you and Bonnie have been able to spend a great deal of time together, enjoying a very active social life and taking classes, attending lectures, going to the theater, out to eat. You loved being together. Not all couples do. She truly did have a zest for life. She enjoyed keeping her mind and her body active with walks around the neighborhood, playing the word games and the boxing games, and of course, writing her rhyming poems, which even just this past January, she wrote a poem. So many people, family members, friends, and those she never met but who hired her, have been touched by her loving, rhyming poems. So many of us have enjoyed her exquisite piano playing. She attempted to teach me to play piano. I did not succeed very well. I tried. But she was the highlight, as we've heard, for Showtime, and it's worth repeating. Our family is a little strange, maybe, but we had a lot of fun every Sunday with the grandparents, the cousins. We would go to each other's homes. And Grandpa Bronk always went first to play all the songs, and David knew all the words. Only David did. And then Aunt Bonnie would sit down, and she would play classical music, and many people would request, play this one, play that one, and it would be a whole show. We were so lucky. And then it was our turn, the kids, right? Lori, Diane, myself, my brothers, we'd get up, we'd sing, and she would accompany us. And then, I wasn't good at this, but Diane, you and Lori always knew those new popular songs. And your mom didn't have sheet music for it, as we've heard. You would just sing to her. And she could play as if, I'm telling you, as a musician, she could play as if she had the whole score in front of her. It was amazing. Like, how did she do that? Not just the melody with the right hand. She put bass clef and treble clef together and played like she knew this song forever. It was, our Showtime went on and on and on for an hour. every Sunday. We had to come up with new material. You recalled so many, Diane, when you were young with Lori, going on family vacations, whether it was Door County or the Dells or Mackinac Island or Madison, of course, and road trips and Disney World and California and all the theater productions you got to go to. Bonnie taught kindergarten. I recall she was my substitute kindergarten teacher once or twice. And she worked once a week in her father's law office, and then many years later, she worked for 20 years as a legal assistant for another law practice. Everything Bonnie did, she did with grace, excellence, and finesse. After her sister died, my mother, Bonnie became like a surrogate mother, grandmother to my children, Michael and Rachel, and a great-grandmother, a surrogate great-grandmother to my grandchildren, Noah and Jazzy. She attended all of their events, programs, and shows as she did and as we heard for her beautiful grandchildren. She adored being Nana to her grandchildren. You were a huge, huge part of her life. To use your words, the grandchildren shared how she was always so supportive, encouraging, loving, caring, compassionate, so much fun. You recalled the family, the whole family, vacations to Disney World, to Mexico, of course, to Madison, St. Croix, Pikes Peak, and of course your last trip you all remembered with such great fondness, the Dude Ranch. And of course, there are so many photos that you'll always remember, these incredible trips together with your Nana and Papa. The trips that she would take you, the day trips to museums or the botanic gardens. She was at every single dance recital, basketball, baseball game, your plays, graduation, bar and bat mitzvah. Chloe and Ethan, when you would come to visit, they made sure that that refrigerator was filled with every kind of food, and Ethan, there was a lot for you, food for you guys to enjoy, and every day was planned with so many wonderful, fun activities. And when you guys went to Asrui, the wonderful Jewish camp that many of us went to over the summer, she would pick you up with, of course, Papa, Sierra and Tyler. I love how you shared your memory of going to the University of Wisconsin with your grandparents. Now, I don't know if all the grandchildren got to do this at the age of 10. They all got to go. This is really cool. At the age of 10, they got to go to be like college kids taking classes, and it was a wonderful grandparents' university is what they called it. And you each on your 10th birthday or near your 10th birthday got to go with your Nana and Papa. And after Lori died, Nana would bring her delicious food every Monday night. You recalled with great fondness, not just her noodle kugel, but the meatloaf and the lemon jello and the vanilla cake. And there were other delicious things that she made. In so many countless ways, she kept your mother's memory alive and shared with you beyond the heritage of the grandparents and the great-grandparents and how much you appreciated that from your Nana. Chloe and Ethan, you shared about a memory chest that your Nana had, filled with so many precious things from all of her grandchildren, organized very well, of course, because it was Bonnie. It had to be organized. But she treasured each and special thing that you've all given her over the years. She was so proud of her grandchildren. There are so many family members who could not be here today who loved her dearly. Rochelle and Anne and Rachel and so many others. Countless friends. I want us all to remember how Bonnie was incredibly compassionate, selfless, welcoming, talented, beautiful, optimistic, fun, inclusive, genuine, and loving. She lived a very full life. She endured more than most, remained strong and positive, bringing so much joy and love to everyone she knew. Bonnie loved butterflies and what they represent. So the next time we see a butterfly, let's think of Bonnie, her rhymes, her music, her smile, her positivity, her love for Leon and Diane, and her precious grandchildren, and all her family and friends who are here, who will continue to need the love and support. Bonnie was one of a kind. We know that none of us will live forever. But we do believe, many of us believe, that our spirit, our soul can live on forever. And the way that that happens is by us who are here continue to speak about her, to share the stories, the memories, which I know we'll do at Shiva, but also in the weeks, months, and years ahead. To continue to document these memories so that future generations yet to be born will know about Bonnie Lindenbaum. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, the memory of the righteous is forever a blessing. And to that we say, Amen. The author of the following is unknown. Just close your eyes and you will see all the memories that you have of me. Just sit and relax, and you will find I'm really still there inside your mind. Don't cry for me now, I'm gone, for I am in the land of song. There is no pain, there is no fear, so dry away that silent tear. Don't think of me in the dark and cold, for here I am, no longer old. I'm in that place that's filled with love, known to you all as up above. I invite you now to turn to your service folders, and if you are able to rise for our concluding prayers, the El Malei Rachamim and the Mourner's Kaddish. Please rise. El Malei Rachamim Shochein Bamromi Hamsei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanvei Hashchina Im Gedoshim לעולמים. בצרור החיים את נשמתה. אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר Amen. O God, full of compassion, thou who dwellest on high, grant perfect rest beneath the sheltering wings of thy presence, among the holy and pure, who shine as the brightness of the firmament unto the soul of Bonnie S. Lindenbaum, who has gone unto eternity. Lord of mercy, bring her under the cover of thy wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be God's possession, and may her repose be peace. Amen. On the back cover, you find our final prayer, the Mourner's Kaddish. It is said that the angels brought this prayer down from heaven. It possesses wonderful power. Truly, if there is any bond strong enough to link heaven to earth, it is this prayer. So we join together in exalting God's name with these traditional words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach hiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah, mivarach le'olam ulomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha berichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shalama rabbah min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. May the author of peace send peace to all of us who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, and let us all say, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Please be seated.
This concludes the service here at the chapel. The family will be sitting shiva at the Lindenbaum residence at 106 Rutgers Court in Glenview today until 9 p.m. and then tomorrow 2 to 4 p.m., and then 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Please rise as the family leaves the chapel. Once the family has left the chapel, you may return to your cars.